Grand Prix competitors, welcome to round 7 of
Here we are,
9
Grand
of the
Prix
final
Salt
stretch.
Lake City, day 1, standard
You have
constructed
50
Grand Prix.
minutes. You
We
may
are
begin.
going into round, are we going into round 7? Really? Wow. We're going to see Shuhei Nakamura, the Hall of Famer, on your left. He's going to be playing against Ben Stark, Pro Tour champion, Grand Prix champion, widely considered one of the great limited minds in the game's history. I'm Brian David Marshall. He's Ben Swartz. We're going to be bringing you the action here on GG's Live. We got 3 rounds of action to go before the end of day 1.
Very exciting to see these two players battle deep in the day.
Yeah, teammates, and we believe, we haven't gotten the deck list yet, but we believe this is like 2 different takes on the Delver deck. So this is the first time we're seeing Delver on Delver. We saw a little bit of Delver last round, and that was the 7th and the 8th archetypes in Standard that we've seen in the feature match area on camera. Now we're still sort of on 8, but again, two different takes. So Nakamura's playing, I think, the same 75.
It's got to be. I didn't ask him exactly, but very, very close, if not the exact 75.
70 plus.
Yeah.
Cards that Yu Watanabe used to win Kuala Lumpur
last weekend.
So this means no Gitaxian Probe. Ben Stark on the hand. We'll see. We could be.
We have the deck list right here, brought to us by.
But we think he's playing the same list that Josh Schroeder-Layton was playing last round. So. Oh, actually, no.
Wow, this is exciting, and
He's playing a completely different deck.
Another deck we're going to add to the list.
Yeah, not a deck I expected to see from Ben Stark.
As we see Evolving Wilds crack to get a swamp on turn 1 for Ben.
Oh wow, we had that. So he's playing a Glissa deck.
He passes with 2 swamps. End of turn. Shuhei is going to cast Thought Scour, milling 2 cards. We can't see him drawing a Ponder.
So actually 9 archetypes now in the feature match area. This is not. I thought that this would be a birthing pod deck, but
let's watch it play out. This looks really interesting from Ben Stark. It's a black-green-red deck, kind of like Conley's deck from Grand Prix Orlando.
Yeah. So Invisible Stalker from Shuhei. Players jostle to make sure their cards are on camera. Thank you guys, we appreciate it.
And
I see a Thought Scour.
Yeah, Thought Scour was cast at the end of Shuhei's, at the end of Ben's second turn. But
and the reason that Yu likes that card over Gitaxian Probe.
Yeah, he said in the article that it combos well with Runechanter's Pike and Snapcaster Mage, and obviously Moorland Haunt. So he wanted to max out on those before he started playing Gitaxian Probes, and he wanted to cut Gitaxian Probe completely because he felt that the 2 damage in this format's really important. He wants to be more of a beatdown deck and not take all that damage. He really emphasized, at least in the article, that the 2 damage was of utmost importance. But here we see Shuhei set up a Ponder.
He shuffled.
And get in with an Invisible Stalker. Invisible Stalker is an interesting card. It moved from sort of the boogeyman in Limited to people starting to slowly play it in their Delver decks until Matt Costa, at Pro Tour Dark Ascension, played it to a top 8 finish there.
I mean, you get a Pike on it. It's just there's whole sections of decks that don't have a way to deal with a Pike.
So good.
Yeah.
Shuhei also cast a Delver at the end of his last turn, but no real big play out of Ben. He's got a Kessig Wolf run, and it looks like he's going to take the 2 damage from Shuhei's creatures. See, I don't see how this is even any more beatdown than just a normal Delver deck. Like, I don't know. Ooh.
Offers up Curse of Death's Hold. He's like, do you have the Mana Leak?
Does not look like Shuhei has the Mana Leak. There you get a good look at Shuhei.
You got it?
Okay. It's going to be tough. It's really tough for the Delver decks to defeat. that card.
And maybe he got the sense that he didn't have that from the
If you
Ponder
signed up for
shuffling.
Commander Pod number 7, please come up to the OP stage at this time.
I mean,
Commander Pod number 7.
Yeah, I don't know if he even has an answer main deck for that, except casting bigger guys like Dungeon Geist or Geist of St. Traft. Equipping them up with like a Rune Chanter's Pike. That's one of the nice things about the deck that Joshua DeLayton was playing last round, right? Is by casting Honor of the Pure, he's able to get rid of Curse of Death's Hold.
Just negate it.
Yeah, effect for at least his white creatures. And there we see Dungeon Geist not targeting anything, but getting a creature down for Shuhei. It's interesting that Ben kept this hand that didn't have a play until turn 5.
He knows how good the
Curse of Death's Hold is.
Curse of Death's Hold is. I mean, that may be what. I think he mulliganed once.
You did mulligan once.
So, you know.
Sure. But still, if he knows that Shuhei's playing Delver, just one mana throws a big wrench in that plan.
Sure.
Sometimes the Delver decks are able to win if they get a quick transformation of Delver before turn 5. So Snapcaster Mage for Shuhei is going to cast it and be able to flashback Ponder. The Snapcaster Mage will die, of course, to Curse at Death's Hold.
What? Yeah, I guess at this point he's just looking for a Rune Chanter's Pike.
We are looking for Brian Hall from Commander Pod 7. Brian Hall.
Of course, Yuya's list wasn't playing any of the other swords. The only equipment it was playing was Rune Chanter's Pike, and Shuhei's seemed to match that. It's no sort of Feast and Famine or sort of War and Peace. So.
You see Celestial Purge in his sideboard and stuff like that. I mean, he's got plenty of answers for the curse in his sideboard. Doesn't look like there's anything in deck he's really going to be able to do about that.
Jason Memory deck.
And we saw Jason Memory deck come up last round. Not quite fast enough for Josh on a rating. See him stocking his yard.
Yeah. I definitely do agree that Thoughtscour is very powerful in the Delver deck to sort of fuel up your graveyard. The problem is it can sometimes be underwhelming. You really want it, to do a little bit more, or you mill the wrong cards, or...
No, you can't really focus on milling the wrong cards. That's... the top of your deck's just the top of your deck.
Right, but I'm saying that, to me, it seems that 2 is kind of the right number. You don't want to have too many of them.
Sure.
Because they all sort of fill the same purpose, and then you run out of time at some level to cast them all. But here you see Shuhei trying to figure out what he wants to do with that Ponder. Looks like he'll go ahead and shuffle, taking a fresh card off the top.
I think he's really just looking for a Pike, I would guess, at this point.
Yeah. A Pike or maybe a Geist of St. Traft.
Sure.
But he'll get in for 2 here. And play another Seachrome Coast tapped and pass the turn over to Ben. And Ben has Primeval Titan ready. So maybe that's another reason. He had Primeval Titan in his opening hand. And he'll go ahead and get 2 Inkmoth Nexuses. And play a 3rd. And of course, with that Wolf Run he played earlier on in the game, could spell a quick end to Shuhei Nakamura's game 1 here. Let's see if Shuhei has something he can do here. He's got.
He might have to Vapor Snag his Dungeon Geist and then replay it.
So he'll play Snapcaster Mage, which dies, flashing back to get Ponder again. It seems to me Shuhei still needs a Rune Chanter's Pike, but this turn, I think that your play's good to Vapor Snag his own Dungeon Geist, play it again. And then the following turn, hold up Snapcaster Mage for Vapor Snag to Vapor Snag Inkmoth Nexus.
Right.
The one that gets pumped. Which is just going to attack in for 2.
Looks like
flying.
You found Geist of St. Traft?
Yep. So Ben's at 13, right? Geist is a 1/1. Will create a 3/3 angel. It's 4, 5, 6 from the dungeon Geist of flying damage. That's still a 2-turn clock, and in that time, Ben
Yeah,
can.
but with 2 Inkmoth Nexuses. You know,
You're saying that Ben's okay?
Yeah.
Right. No, I agree with you. In that time, Ben can block and get a bunch of lands so that he can pump up
Right.
one of his Inkmoth Nexuses to deal a bunch of poison damage. I mean, that's not necessarily the way he needs to go. He can, of course, pump up the Primeval Titan. But either way, he's going to amass a ton of lands in the next 2 turns before Shuhei has a chance to deal enough damage. So Ben pondering over his options here. Was Conley's deck at Grand Prix Orlando playing Glissa?
yes.
Okay.
I think he had 1.
I think that Ben also has one.
Yeah.
Sort of an updated list. Of course, there's Huntmaster of the Fells in Ben's deck, which Conley did not have access to. So Ben is going to attack in with Primeval Titan, triggering its ability. Be able to pull 2 lands out of his deck, so he chooses.
I love Primeval Titan so much.
Really?
Yeah.
We have a word for people like you.
And I play with one of them in my commander deck.
And then he'll cast a Grave Titan post-combat. Again, here we see Grave Titan, a card that people thought. You know, if I came into this room this morning, I didn't think that people would be playing that card. I
And it's
completely
weird,
forgot
and
about it.
weirdly, it seems like a card that maybe should have a little bit of splash damage with all the Celestial Purges running around. But even then, if you're going to be black and something's going to get Celestial Purge, at least you get
Yeah.
2 tokens for your effort, right?
So here Shuhei goes in, or he'll just end up conceding. So there we go. Ben Stark takes game 1 here, round 7 of Grand Prix Salt Lake City. There you get a good look at Ben Stark.
Yeah, this is really within very close to being
Players,
Conley's
if you'd
deck
like to
from Orlando.
pre-register for
I think
tomorrow's
he's playing
standard
Ratchet Bomb over
open.
Geth's Verdict in the main deck.
You may do so at the side events area. You can come see me.
Sure,
Go
and
for the
Head
throat
start,
over
introduce
Doomblade.
$30,
And he figured out a
and
way
stand
to
in the
get
line all day tomorrow morning.
1 Huntmaster. And
one Hunt
Standard
Master.
open
But yeah, it
registration
looks-
now available.
And the Hunt Master, because of the green sun's in, I think you can just go get it.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need more than 1.
But yeah, it's interesting that he opted not to go. I mean, sort of the.
Well, you start to look at this list, and you feel like, oh, Birthing Pod.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
it's
Like-
the same feeling I had with Conley's deck earlier that we
Right.
saw. Oh, you have all these guys, you've got green, sort of ramp deck, play Birthing Pod. And it's also interesting that most of the other Channel Fireball guys are playing a Delver deck of some sort. We saw Joshua DeLate in the last round playing the Delver deck. I know Owen's playing a similar Delver deck. But I guess for some reason, Ben really has liked these sort of ramp decks.
Ben has always marched to the beat of his own drummer.
He got second place at Grand Prix Atlanta 2 years ago, right, with the Primeval Titan deck, the Valakut deck. and
Right.
Extended
Yes.
it. Well, all the other Channel Fireball people were playing fairies.
Yeah.
Right. So,
So guys, look at their sideboards. You see Ben's got, a handful of Planeswalkers. That's an interesting card. Tree of Redemption. Was that in the Conley list?
I don't think so. Tree of Redemption.
No, it was. It was in his sideboard.
Well, Shuhei has, I think, for the most part, I think he changed 1 card from Yuya's list. I have that up here. Although it's in Japanese, so it's going to be difficult. I think...
So both of these guys are playing new iterations of previous standard Grand Prix winning lists.
$10 draft number 21 and Commander Pod.
Yeah.
number
This is a
8,
reiteration of
ultimate
Yuya's list
stage.
from last
Once
week.
again,
This is very clearly a reiteration of Conley's deck from week 2 of the Grand Prix season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like maybe 3 cards off from Conley's list. This is 1 card off from the
Yeah.
75 that Yuya played
Yeah.
last week. Shuhei's playing an Oblivion Ring instead of a Timely Reinforcement.
And it's interesting because people have been talking a lot about the cyclical nature of the metagame and how things are going around, coming around, and blue-black is this, and then it's this, and it's good. And this was a deck that found a window to be really good in it. Maybe Ben identified some of the same traits in the metagame.
Still, really interesting to see him play this. I mean, we thought he's for sure Delver.
For sure, I would have wagered money. Not that I would ever wager money at a sanctioned event, but I would have wagered money that he was playing Delver.
I mean, we were saying it in the pregame, and then Rashad comes over here with a list, drops him on the table.
Yeah.
Excuse me, what is this? Primeval Titan?
Yeah, I mean, not even. Maybe he'd be playing Conley's current.
Yeah.
Crazy bird. How is Conley faring? Do we know?
I think he has one loss. But let's check that out. Yeah, Conley has one loss.
Okay. I hope we get to see more of that deck. Any idea how Cedric's holding up with the list?
I don't know. I saw him. I know he lost his first round, but it looked like he was still trucking along. Let's take a look. I see also with one loss, Ricky Sitter, Sipithala, and Brian Kibler.
Very funny. Ricky Sitter and Sipithala just teasing his friend Michael Hetrick.
Although Michael Hetrick's undefeated, Ricky has one loss. Yeah, I don't see Cedric, but it's tough to look through all these names very quickly. But yeah, I'm not sure. I want to apologize during this break for Kenji Samura. He's watching at home, but his English is not good enough to listen to us if we talk really fast. So he asked me, especially on Twitter, to talk more slowly. I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I will almost certainly not do that. But love
thank
you,
you for
Kenji.
watching.
Come to Barcelona, hang out.
I know that every single time I open up Magic Online, he's sitting there in the 8-man room playing Constructed, just standard all the time. I mean, his article, usually on the Japanese Magic site, is talking about the Magic Online metagame, so he has to play a lot of Magic Online. But yeah, rats. Darn it. Poor him.
One of my favorite moments was when Kenji was just starting to learn. I mean, he always had a little bit of English, but he was just starting to feel comfortable and a little colloquial with it. And he was starting to hang out with Gabe Walls.
Yep, yeah.
And they just got him to do the must is. Just like, Kenji would say something, and Gabe would say must, and Kenji did is.
It's better than the English that Juza has picked up from some of the Channel Fireball players.
Republic event stage, $10 draft number 22.
It looks like Shuhei is keeping.
And we are off to the races. Island, no turn 1 Delver for Shuhei, but it looks like he'll draw that one off the top and cast it on turn 2.
No ponder.
Yeah. So we'll just have to naturally check to see if an instant sorcery is on top.
This version really has like 25%, or I guess 33% more creatures than the other Delver decks, which have 12, 16 creatures.
Yeah, this one has Dungeon Geist, right?
Yeah. Dungeon Geist and Invisible Stalker, where a lot of them just have the
12 creatures,
guys,
yeah.
the Snapcasters, the Delvers, and the Geists.
Oh, but this is an interesting play that Shuhei took advantage of. He looked at the top card, decided he didn't want to, during his upkeep, cast Thought Scour to get rid of that instant sorcery. I forgot which one it is. I guess it was Seal Sabotage.
Oh, nice.
And then draw a fresh card. It's a sort of combination that maybe everybody doesn't know about.
Sure.
Being able to check the top card and realizing you don't want it, thanks to Delver.
There's a Glissa.
Yeah, Glissa. Sorry, I haven't seen that one in 3 months. And Phantasmal Image will copy Glissa and take it out thanks to the Legendary rule.
It's not as exciting as when you do that with a Phyrexian Metamorph. So when you Metamorph a Glissa, you can get your Metamorph back.
Yeah. So Shuhei
Ben is clever.
doing work with. I mean, that's the thing about Delver of Secrets. It's like Wild Nicottle with wings.
Yeah, but usually with Wild Nicottle, you needed a bunch of guys. You need some burn to back it up.
Instead of burn and guys, you just have the
Disruption and card filtering.
the best blue instants and sorceries at your disposal. So Ben has a Solemn Simulacrum attacking and a pair of Inkmoth Nexuses hanging back. Looks like an end of turn Shuhei is going to use Snapcaster Mage to increase his clock and flashback Thought Scour. Milling Geisting Trap.
Deck check team leads to the main event stage. Deck check team leads.
And drawing a Mana Leak. So he's going to crash in. Let's see if Ben wants to fire up one of those Inkmoth Nexuses to block the Delver. I mean, because Ben takes 5 here, then he's probably one Vapor Snare away from dying.
So he's going to animate both of them. Is there...
Nope. Shuhei will take that trade, and Ben will fall to 9. And
any Tectonic Edge is 2 lands there, you know?
yeah, I think that's really good, especially because it keeps Ben off of 6 mana, like an extra turn away.
And it makes his Mana Leaks more relevant.
I mean, what else is he going to do? Not attack? I mean,
Revoke Existence on the Simulacrum.
and looks like Ben is going to Ancient Grudge his own Solemn Simulacrum, so he can draw a card. But Shuhei will get it for 2.
Fine, attack, deal.
Okay, yeah, if you want to go through all that trouble. Cycle away your Ancient Grudge effectively. And still no play from Ben Stark. You expect him to have a Titan by the time he got to 6 mana, but doesn't look like he does. That's one of the problems with these ramp decks. If you don't draw one of your haymakers,
just draw more ramp.
yeah. So should he continue getting in? Ben's at 3 life.
Yeah, and then this is at the point in the game where even if you draw your haymakers and they get Vapor Snag, you die. Or ringed,
or likely Shuhei has a counterspell.
Right.
Or 2 or 3.
Attempt to curse his death. No, Green Sun Zenith.
For 4, probably for Huntmaster of the Fells. But holding 3 up in case there's a Mana Leak.
You just dissipate this here, right?
Yeah, Shuhei's got Dissipate in his hand, so. Looks like he might be considering double Mana Leaking. Why might he do that over just Dissipating here? Obviously he wants Ben to tap out so he can fall to 1 life. So that's what Shuhei does. Ben's completely tapped out. Shuhei's able to get in for 1 with Snapcaster Mage.
So Ben is now at 1.
And Shuhei's going to cast Phantasmal Image, copying Snapcaster Mage, getting back Ponder. It's their gut shot. Not sure, but Shuhei chooses to keep them on top.
Kind of Curse of Death's Hold or no here, right?
There's Curse of Death's Hold, but Shuhei's got Dissipate.
Black Sun Zenith for 1.
Okay,
And
so
that was why he did the double Mana Leak, I guess.
there we go. I guess that Ben's keep makes a little bit more sense. He's got all these defensive cards that he could use, but
Ben is alive but barely at one. And Shuhei's got a fistful of cards.
Dungeon
Plays
Geist.
out a Dungeon Geist.
And looks like Ben just plays land go. He's going to fire up his Nexus. Shuhei's going to use Snapcaster Mage to flashback Steel Sabotage to bounce the Inkmoth Nexus. And we'll go to a game 3 here. Shuhei evening it up at 1 game apiece. There you get to get a good look of the Japanese Hall of Famer.
So an interesting thing about Shuhei, I don't know if you have a chance to talk about it. He's not, doesn't seem to be showing any signs of slowing down since he's been in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of players who are playing at the pace that he was playing heading into the Hall of Fame have kind of eased up on the brakes a little bit. But not him, not Kibler, and not Levy.
All three of them.
3 guys who are just, still going at it rather, doggedly, really like just making the most of the opportunity that, being in the Hall of Fame gives you to just know that you're able to play and go to these events. And
Well, I mean, they're not taking advantage of it in the sense that
well, they're not taking advantage of the opportunity to
be able to go to a Pro Tour whenever they want.
Sure.
But they're showing that they still can play.
Sure.
That they're not, the dinosaurs.
Last minute
So
too.
we're-
I mean, Shuhei's hardly a dinosaur.
Yeah, he's 29 years and 14 months.
He's like a woolly mammoth. I mean, Finkel and that era of players are the dinosaurs.
I mean, you could argue that Kibler was part of that era. No, I guess not.
Kibler's sort of kind of. No, Kibler played Pro Tour 1.
He played Pro Tour 1?
Yeah, juniors, but he played. Same as John.
I mean, Shuhei, not really. His first Pro Tour was not Columbus, but that was the first one he top aided. That was in the first year or so.
Please report to the side events area.
I think his first, I don't remember now, but I think it was either World 2001 or maybe one of the Chicago's in 2001, but
Okay.
because he got inducted in 2011. So
Sure.
he played, did okay, didn't do anything. And he was just off and on the Pro Tour for a while. He qualified at Grand Prix Kobe in 2001.
Okay.
Off and on the Pro Tour. And then top 50 worlds in 2004 as part of that insane team. It was him, Tsuyoshi Fujita, and Kenji Samura.
Before anybody knew who they were.
Yeah, just like this absolutely insane team. And then he comes back from that event into Columbus and top 8's Columbus and has never looked back since.
Yep. Finals lost there to eventual winner Pierre Canali. It's interesting to see sort of in that top 8 maybe a passing of the baton between Masashi Oiso also made that top 8 and lost in the semifinals. Shea was the one that ended up going to the finals.
Masashi Oiso on your Hall of Fame ballot?
I got a Hall of Fame.
Assuming hypothetical Hall of Fame ballot.
Who else is eligible this year?
Paulo, LSV, Kenji. Oh no, maybe it's LSV this year or next year. I forget. The years have changed around. I don't even know what the eligibilities will be. All right, we're underway here. Ben cracks an Evolving Wilds at the end of Shuhei's turn. Goes and gets a Forest.
Still no turn 1 Delver for Shuhei or turn 1 Ponder. That's one of the interesting things about the Delver decks. There's so many hands that you kind of have to keep because they're still really good that don't have a turn 1 Delver, but the hands that you have turn 1 Delver, they're usually unbeatable. Especially if your opponent doesn't have a Gut Shot immediately or a Galvanic Blast. Some way to kill it. But players are playing pretty briskly here. Ben starts things off with a turn 3 Thrun.
Thrun the turn 3 Troll.
Yep, not quite the last. Tom Martell's still in the building.
So what does Shuhei do about this?
He's got Phantasmal Image that he sideboarded in, like we saw last game.
There you go. That's a good answer.
But still no third land for Shuhei. You can see the frustration.
Yeah, he was just like, oh!
Being forced to discard his Celestial Purge last turn. Looks like he'll again have to discard this turn.
Yeah, PV put correct. Yeah, LSV is next year, and he also wants to know what the Hall of Fame is going to look like this year. Dates, etc. I don't actually know, Apollo. I think those meetings are coming up soon.
But don't worry, there's no chance you're making it.
Yeah. I don't know why you're worried about that.
Looks like Ben is going to activate his 2 Inkmoth Nexuses and get in with Thrun.
Is he going to go for the trifecta?
Still needs to somehow mill.
We're going to mill him too.
Increasing confusion.
Ah.
I don't think he's got that in his non-blue deck. Vapor Snag is going to take out one of the Inkmoth Nexuses. Shuhei now with access to 3 mana, but... Ooh, and Steel Sabotage to take out the other one. And he still needs to answer that Thrun pretty quickly. Shuhei only at 8 life. That's only a couple hits, a pair of hits from Thrun. Oh, there's Phantasmal Image to take out Thrun. Okay, so now Shuhei's got some room to work. Sphere of the Suns for Ben Stark. And he'll attack in for a single poison, putting Shuhei to 4 poison. And now Shuhei's got access to his 4th land and white mana. Thanks to a coming to play
John
tap
Chen,
Seachrome
your
Coast.
standard winner box is waiting for you. John Chen, your standard winner box is waiting for you. Please report to the public event stage.
Shuhei continues to rack up poison.
Three Nexuses in play for Ben.
Shuhei at 6 poison.
That's Moreland Hall there, though, at the end, right?
Yep.
Go to 8, go to 9.
Yeah, it looks like Shuhei's just going to pass back.
I don't even actually know if he has enough creatures to do that.
I think he's got a Phantasmal Image. I think that might be the only one.
$10 draft number 23 in the public event stage. $10 draft number 23.
So it looks like Ben is going to fire up all 3 of his Nexuses. And Shuhei's going to activate Moreland Haunt, block 1, go to 8 poison. Ben is going to go ahead and
Standard
cast
sealed
Sphere of the
players,
Suns.
you may begin.
It's meta.
Okay. I think Shuhei's in a lot of trouble here. I see a go for the throat in Ben's hand. So if he tries to do a similar thing, play a creature and block next turn, that's not going to be necessarily enough. So Shuhei thought scours himself. Let's see what he draws. Delver of Secrets. But he did, with Thought Scour, put a Geist of St. Trapped in his graveyard.
Yep.
So he is able to activate Moreland Haunt once more, if he so chooses. But he's still 1 land short of being able to activate Moreland Haunt and cast Mana Leak. So Shuhei's going to cast Delver, pass the turn back. I'm pretty sure Ben's player is just going to be fire up the 2 Nexuses, kill the Moreland Haunt token with Go for the Throat. And that's it. Yep, Ben Stark wins the match 2-1 over Shuhei Nakamura here at round 7 of Grand Prix Salt Lake City. That was a good match to watch.
Yep. Shuhei's land showed up turn too late. See Conley giving us the guns. What you reckon, Conley?